Hello friends, my name is Vandrel, and before I dive into today's video, I actually want to thank each and every one of you. My video has kind of exploded over the weekend, and the support I received from all of you has been incredible. Now let's get on to today's topic, Bloodstone-Warped Hides. This is a very quick and dirty solo farm that requires a specific class with a specific build. We will be using a Perma-stealth Deadeye to collect 10 Harathi strongboxes in Lake Doric. Each of the chests contain 2 Bloodstone-Warped Hides that can either be salvaged with a decent chance of getting Hardened Leather Sections, or you can simply sell them on the auction house for a very quick buck. Whether it's worth selling or salvaging them can be easily tracked on the fast farming website through their salvageables page. This farm has somewhat of a peculiar reset timer, as the boxes reset every 12 hours since they were last looted, potentially giving you up to 40 hides per day for only a couple of minutes invested. These 10 chests spawn around Watchtower Cliffs, which is the area that is infested by centaurs. The higher we climb up the hill, the more difficult these are going to get. The Bloodstone Crazed centaurs have a real chance of two-shotting your character, which is why we are going to be using a build that can remain in stealth. The chests can spawn in multiple locations, so make sure you enable the show all usable object names in the general options. This will allow you to spot all of the chests with ease from a distance. The chests themselves have no cast bar, so you just need to run past them and press the interact key to get your loot. As for the route, what we want to do is start at the bottom level and make sure we check the 2 tents in the back, as these are 2 possible spawn locations. Once we've cleared this bottom level, we just want to work our way up top, with the ramp going upwards having a path to the right that we are going to want to check as well, as there are 2 more possible spawn locations on the right side cliffs. Next, we will keep going all the way up towards the tower, making sure we do not miss any of the chests we run past. Once you reach this top level, make sure to also check the cliffs on the left side, as these tend to contain some chests as well. As for the build, permanently stealthing used to be way easier on Deadeye before they reworked Shadow Arts, but it's still very possible to do. Now, if Carl or Roy are watching this video, could you please not touch this build in the name of PvP balance? Some of us like roleplaying as Sam Fisher in the open world. Now, I cannot stress this enough, this is not a combat build. All we want to achieve is Perma-stealth to quickly loot the 10 chests and get out alive. For this build, we will be investing into the Shadow Arts straight line, which will give us a few tangible benefits. Every time we enter or exit stealth, we will get a few seconds of super speed and protection. Please do note that we will try to remain in stealth permanently, so this is not an insane amount of value we will be getting out of this. But if we do mess up, this might very well save us. The second trait line we will be investing into is acrobatics. This will give us access to some very nice quality of life buffs. Every time we dodge, we will be refreshing swiftness on ourselves, allowing us to complete our route faster. And thanks to the Grandmaster trait Don't Stop, we will not be hindered by movement impairing conditions. Additionally, every time we use our healing skill, we will be gaining vigor, which gives us access to even more dodges. The Deadeye trait line will give us access to some utilities that we will need to permanently stay in stealth, as well as the Silent Scope trait. This trait will give us stealth every time we dodge as long as we have a rifle equipped. Which brings us to the gear of this build. As long as you have a rifle equipped, you can technically do this naked, so don't worry too much about stats, runes, armor combinations. But if you want to invest into this, there is a bit of quality of life you can give yourself. If you have access to Marauder's gear, you can give yourself a bit of a HP buffer in case you mess up. And if you add a few diviner stats, let's say through the trinkets or the weapons, the extended buffs, especially vigor, will make this much easier on you. Runes of the Zephyrite will extend the super speed we get from Shadow Arts by 33%, as well as grant us a boost of super speed every time we use our elite skill. However, there really is no need to specifically invest in these. I only started using them once I made my legendary runes, as it is free to swap to them for me now. You can perfectly remain in stealth at all times without all of this. If you want an extra safety net as well, you could equip a second rifle with the Sigil of Energy, on both of the weapon sets, which will give you an extra dodge if you are in combat. You can get in combat without getting pulled out of stealth if you cast Blinding Powder next to one of your enemies. And as for the rotation, what we want to do is be chaining stealth as much as possible and build up a buffer. You can stack stealth up to 10 seconds, so don't blow all of your skills at once. Try to also make sure that you're never capped on endurance and always have a dodge on cooldown whenever you can. The same goes for your elite skill. Make sure you're not sitting at 2 charges and always keep at least 1 charge on cooldown. Most of the skills are actually self-explanatory. You get a few seconds of stealth every time you dodge, and by pressing the Signet of Endurance, you get your 2 dodges refunded. So you can effectively dodge 3 times in a row and still have a dodge to spare in case something goes wrong. Our healing skill, Hide in Shadows, and Blinding Powder give us 3 seconds of stealth each. Shadow Refuge is an important part to remain in stealth. Stealth is reapplied for as long as we stay in its AoE, and it will allow us to stack up nearly 10 seconds of stealth after the skill has finished. A very important note is to not leave the AoE early of the skill, as this will reveal you. And then finally, we have our elite skill called Shadow Melt. This will give us 3 seconds of stealth and remove a reveal debuff. So if you mess up and leave Shadow Melt early, make sure you hit this skill as soon as you can. And that's actually it for this video. I hope this gives you access to a very quick and easy farm, and if you repeat this often enough, you might actually get more leather than you will be needing in the short term. If you have any comments or questions, please do leave them down below. I try to make sure I read all of them and reply to any questions you have throughout the day. If you liked it, please like this video, and your subscription would mean the world to me.